Welcome back, everyone. This is Dave with the Core Productions Deep Dive TV podcast. My co-host Stacie here to talk about Paradise, Season 2, Episode 7, the penultimate episode titled The Final Countdown.
Do-do-do-do.
That's pretty good. Are you going to start singing?
No, we get in trouble when we sing.
Okay. The episode's description reads as follows. Xavier has unfinished business. Meanwhile, Sinatra meets with Link as Paradise prepares for a potential threat. The episode is written by Melissa Glenn. She's a co-executive producer for this season, and this is her first credited writing assignment on this series. The episode is directed by Hanel M. Culpepper. This is her third episode of the series, and she will be directing the finale as well. Before we go any further, I'll tell you a couple things. One, this is not a support-free podcast. If you haven't watched the episode, I highly recommend you go check it out, and then come back and give us a listen. Secondly, if you're listening on the platforms of this podcast now available on, please follow. And feel free to check out our YouTube channel, Core Productions, where additional content can be discovered. If you're already on our YouTube channel, please like, share, and comment, and subscribe to our channel.
Yes, come to YouTube, please.
Yes, please do. All right, so Stacie, you got some birthday shout-outs.
Birthdays! Okay, well, today, March 23rd, is Nicole Bryden Bloom's birthday. She turns 32 today. That, of course, is Jane. Her episode aired 1 week too early.
I guess so.
Although, considering what happens in today's episode, I just put that together. That's a terrible birthday present.
I mean, I think that's going to be a reverse, but we'll definitely get into that conversation later.
Happy birthday to Nicole. Tomorrow, March 24th, is a very Quantum Leap-centric birthday. We have Olivia Burnett, who appeared twice in Quantum Leap. She turns 49 tomorrow.
49?
Right?
Olivia Burnett is older than me?
Yeah.
Wow, I thought she was younger, but okay.
I mean, yeah, that one made me feel old typing that into the notes. Of all the birthdays we've done, Olivia Burnett turning 49 broke me a little bit.
I'm sure that
Little
did.
Katie Beckett.
Right?
Also, tomorrow we have Peter I'm going to say this wrong again. Peter Vanasek. I apologize if I got it wrong. He's one of the new hosts of the Quantum Leap podcast.
Who's also been a contributor on our channel, at least once.
He has been. He also hosts the Cobra Kai Companion podcast. Did I say that one right?
I think so.
Okay.
Eventually.
Happy birthday to Peter, as well as another friend from the Quantum Leap fandom, MJ Cogburn. They all share a birthday tomorrow, so happy birthday to all of you. On March 28th is Jenna Berman. She played Evie on Earth Abides. She's having a birthday. And on March 29th would have been Dennis Wolfberg's birthday. Of course, that is the actor who played Gushy on Quantum Leap, so we're remembering him this week as well.
All right, I got a few rest in pieces for Chuck Norris. Unfortunately, he passed away recently. He's pretty familiar as a action star. There were numerous Chuck Norris jokes made throughout the years. Nicholas Brennan from Buffy the Vampire Slayer, he also passed away pretty recently.
On the same day, I think, both of them.
Really? That's crazy.
Morning and afternoon, or at least that's when the news came out.
Gotcha. And I also have a birthday for John D. Lancey, who played Q in Star Trek. His birthday was actually March 20th.
Okay.
So a couple of days before this podcast, unfortunately.
So he wasn't on our birthday list.
Nope.
If you want to make it to our birthday calendar, all you have to do is send us a message, an email, reach out to us any way that you can. Let us know you're there and tell us your birthday. We'll put you on our birthday calendar to give you a shout out.
All right. And one last shout out for Cough Hiccup. He says, "Hi, Stacie," with a smiley face.
Hi.
And Dave without the smiley face.
Well, we have like 20 years of history.
Yeah, that's fair. I just thought that was really funny. But anyway, when said out loud, it equals coffee cup. Okay, that makes sense. And he actually...
I knew that.
I did not. But his picture is actually of a coffee cup, so that makes complete sense. Okay, so they make it a point for us to be aware of the Alec Trebek name discussion between Doc and Sinatra in the past, even though the scientist named it after his wife, and the mystery, her is named Alex. But yet Alex Trebek has all the answers. No. So Alex must possibly be AI, because AI has all the answers. Sure, maybe that's why they brought up Alex Trebek.
I saw someone else online suggesting that Alex Trebek conversation points us to some sort of a Mandela effect type of situation. suggesting that Sinatra and Tabi originated from different timelines.
I think that's quite possible.
That is quite possible based on where we are in this episode. It definitely feels like we're leading into serious alternate timelines or dimension discussions, which really is the same thing once you get down to it.
Yeah, as far as his point, yes, I do believe that Alex is some kind of AI, as I mentioned a couple of times already.
I'm leaning towards like an AI, quantum computer, something like Ziggy.
Okay.
Something that knows everything, is doing an algorithm to know the future, is altering events in the past to change the future, to change the timeline, to put us onto a different path in the multiverse, if you will. I still think there's a possibility there's actual time travel involved too, but we're not really getting evidence of that so far.
That's our shoutouts for this week.
Okay.
Your thoughts on this week's episode?
I really enjoyed this episode. I'm sad that there's only one left. How did we get here so quickly? I don't know. I think they did a great job this episode, finally, of advancing all of the storylines at the same time, and everything is coming together, coming to a head. It makes the whole season feel worthwhile, and all of those branching stories that some of them did drag a little bit, they all are important now.
Yeah.
And it's the thing. It's Dan Fogelman, you know, and his team is... There's not a single throwaway line of dialogue in this whole series. It doesn't seem like it.
I'm still waiting to find out what the kids in episode 2 have to do with anything.
Sure. There are definitely some like random plot points that don't feel like they went anywhere, but I almost feel like he does do that too. Like we're used to that.
Yeah.
Where, okay, not literally everything has a deeper meaning, but most things do. And because you don't know which things do and which things don't, you're still surprised when we get to the conclusions.
Gotcha.
If that makes sense.
Sure.
So yeah, there are some straggling points like the kids, you know, that I feel like, I don't know, either we missed something in why that was important to Xavier's story, or they're coming back at some point in the future, maybe in season 3, I don't know. That does feel like a weak spot in the overall season of what the heck was the point of that, right? In general, there's just so much going on, and every time like a line feels insignificant and it pays off later, it just feels so rewarding. Like we get a lot of that in this episode. Like upon rewatching it, I was like, oh my goodness, this conversation didn't feel significant at all when it was happening, but then by the time you get to the end, it's like so much breadcrumbing and foreshadowing, and all of this stuff is just everywhere in this script.
Yeah, I think this is a pretty great episode. We'll see how it pays off next week.
I cannot wait for next week. I'm nervous.
I am too.
I'm nervous that they're not going to...
that they're going to leave us in a bad spot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see that happening.
That it's going to be like a really tough year. But here's the good news. Not only has Hulu confirmed season 3 is a go, they are going to air season 3. We now know that season 3 is written. The scripts are done. Dan Fogelman said they have finished the writing process, which means they're, you know, going to be able to get us this sooner than later, compared to a lot of shows in modern television, which take 1.5 years, 2 years to develop a season.
Right.
They seem to be moving right along. It's already written, which means they could go into production anytime, probably this summer. They're going to go into production and get us the show, you know, presumably next, beginning of next year, lining up with when seasons 1 and 2 aired, which is good news. Because, again, a lot of shows have been just taking a lot longer recently.
I feel like discussing this episode, it's going to feel a lot of times like the ravings of a madman, or what you said in our school spirits book, basically a fever dream. I think there's a lot of things here that I don't know how to talk about.
Yes,
exactly.
I feel the same way.
But, yeah, so do we have anything else to say before diving in?
I think I'm good to start our scene by scene, and I think a lot of what I have to say, I'm going to wait till the end, as far as, like, really trying to dive into what the heck.
Okay,
you
gotcha.
know?
Makes sense.
Yeah.
All right. So, the episode begins with Anders and Sinatra in the past getting a tour of the technical part of the bunker, which Cal is also along for the ride.
And it's 6 years ago,
right.
the screen says, so 3 years before the day.
Cal has Anders dumb his explanations down to caveman level of education.
And I appreciated that.
Yes. And it's funny because Cal often plays dumb, but he is not this dumb.
Right.
And I don't understand why he's doing it exactly.
I think he was just like, let's get on with it already. I don't care.
Okay, gotcha.
I don't need all the statistics. Let's just get a move on.
But you can see Sinatra rolling her eyes at him. And at first it kind of reads like, oh, because he's so dumb. But I think it's more along the lines, she knows he's not this dumb.
She knows he's not this dumb, but I have thoughts on Cal, which I'll get to later.
Okay.
I have new thoughts on Cal.
Okay. Interesting.
By the end of this episode, by the end of this tour.
All right. So Anders says that they are on a final countdown, and Cal starts singing the song. And of course, the lyrics popped up in the Instagram messaging from... The Paradise Confidential. It's
right. An exclusive group chat. You can get in on it. I don't know how you get in on it, but go check out the Paradise Instagram. It's there somewhere.
I mean, if anybody can get into it, it's not very exclusive then, huh? But anyway, they alluded to the lyrics for this song for this episode. And he wants to know about the clicker thing, the thing that controls everything.
Yeah, so we're shown a bunch of stuff which becomes important. Well, two things actually become really important. But we see the oxygen tanks, the aquifers, trash furnaces, water heaters, and 4 modular nuclear reactors. We are being told explicitly now this place is run on nuclear power, which makes sense. But they hadn't literally told us that before. And the final countdown came into play because he said one of them is operational and they're in the final countdown to get the other 3 going.
Gotcha.
So both the nuclear reactors and the oxygen tanks are going to become very important as this episode plays out.
Mm-hmm. Anders thinks that's a very good question and leads the way to show him how it's done. Sinatra says she's satisfied with the progress, and Cal makes fun of her for it. Cal ends up relating a story about an $8,000 robe that he never actually wore.
A silk robe with tassels that he bought on his honeymoon in London.
Cal hopes that this is what this is all about, that this bunker is basically that robe, that they spent a whole lot of money on something that they're never actually going to use. And he brings up, basically he's worried about, this is the place that he and his kids are going to die in. And then he realizes what he said, and he apologizes to Sinatra. We're going to be reminded of Dylan a lot in this episode.
Right.
And she says that she thinks about him every day. But he should have someone pack that robe for him because they indeed will be living down here eventually. This is the future. Yes. And then we have our credits.
And you are questioning, is this the robe that Cal was wearing on his final day?
Right.
When he was walking around town in a bathrobe. I did go back and look at the season 1 pictures. It is definitely not a silk robe with tassels he was wearing. It was a basic $20 terry cloth robe he was wearing. Which makes me think he did not heed Sinatra's warning and he did not pack that robe up and have it sent to the bunker.
How unfortunate.
I think it is underwater in D.C.
Probably. When we come back, we resume where Xavier was when we last saw him. He's on the ground. They're shouting from everyone. There's a bunch of soldiers surrounding him. He ends up disarming everyone. Terry keeps saying, hey, that's my husband, that's my husband.
For like half a beat, they almost make us think that Gary was right and she's being held hostage because they're like holding her back from him.
Right. And he basically disarms someone and he's like, hey, look, I don't want to hurt anyone. That's his wife. He came a long way for her. And one of the guards here is played by Graham Kurtz, 26 credits, including Shrinking, an episode of Glee, and 30 Rock.
He was also in 35 episodes of a show called The New Adventures of Peter and Wendy.
So they stop holding her back, and they emotionally reunite. And he tells her that he heard her on the radio. She asks about the kids. Of course, he answers they're fine. They're back at the bunker. Dakota asks about the Colorado bunker. Terry says that they can go with them. And Xavier calms down and helps one of them up. And he mentions that the mailman, that he's the one that said that they were a threat, and then that's the reason for the explosions. Dakota, in response to this, says to check the perimeter, and they need to question Xavier before this goes any further, because he basically acted like Jason Bourne just now. Terry gets a note as Xavier is let off, and it reads that he has been and to come home. And of course, this is from the mailman delivering a message. As the mailman
right. So in the commotion, he took Bean. And you mentioned Dakota. I just want to point out that's a new name, not a new character. We previously just called her Train Lady. We didn't know her name until this episode, played by Raya Keelstart. So yes, her name is Dakota.
Samantha gets ready, trying to decide what outfits to wear to the meeting with the outsiders. Her husband, who actually gets lines in this episode, he actually gets to do something, ends up picking one out for her.
He picks out a bright red one, saying that, she needs to be bold to meet with these people. And I just want to point out what a giant walk-in closet she has for this being an underground post-apocalyptic bunker. It's like as big as my bedroom, her closet.
She is living large. They talk about how they used to follow each other around everywhere, and it stopped when Dylan died. They make the claim that Dylan would be 26 years old, and at this point, when they said that, we ended up pausing the episode.
Yeah, this fact took me out.
Right.
Okay,
yeah.
and I'm gonna get over it, but let me rant about it just for a moment.
Okay.
Because my suspension of disbelief was broken when they said Dylan's supposed to be 26 years old right now.
Right.
Because this is a complicated timeline. We've been following it. We know it's been 10 years since, the day she met Dr. Luge. But Hadley is 16 years old, according to the credits.
Yes.
At the most, she's 18, because she's still in high school. But according to the credits for the actress, Kate Godfrey, her first credit, which is in episode 2, Sinatra, says Hadley, age 16.
Yes.
Okay. If she's 16 and Dylan's supposed to be 26 if he was alive, that means Dylan is 10 years older than Hadley.
Which doesn't fly with what we saw in Sinatra.
Doesn't match the kids we saw in the grocery store.
Right.
That little girl was credited as being Hadley, age 3.
Which means Dylan there would have to be 13 years old.
And he did not look 13.
I mean, to be fair, some kids, they get their growth spurts later.
Sure, but he literally looked 8 to 9 years old.
Yes, which is...
I was always under the impression that these kids were only a few years apart in age.
Right.
And she wasn't treating him like a 12 or 13-year-old. This is when she covered his eyes and she was like, what shape of ice cream do you want? Do we want the round ice cream? The square ice cream? We were playing a toddler game. That's not a 13-year-old child.
Right.
Yeah, this just broke me. The fact that, we're being told there's 10 years age difference between them.
Yeah.
But I'm going to move on because I don't think that that's significant in any way. I think that's just a me problem.
I mean, it's clearly a continuity screw-up of some type, unless, I don't know. I don't see how they explain this, but yeah.
And I don't think this is a timey-wimey problem.
It's not.
Because we're being told...
Right.
By his parents, he's supposed to be 26 years old. In their timeline, in this story we're watching, they're saying that's how much time has passed, and he should be 26.
And unfortunately, it's not an insignificant detail, because this
Right.
does become important. But anyway, Sinatra wonders how he healed, from the fact that Dylan died as a kid. How he managed to be okay. And he says that she is also okay, but Sinatra begs to differ. And then we cut to Tabi.
And she doesn't wear the red jacket, by the way.
Oh, okay.
she does not take his advice.
Well, you know what? That's pretty typical. Anytime my ex-wife ever asked my opinion for something, she always ended up doing the opposite.
Well, this
of
is
whatever
important here, though. It's really showing, they are at complete...
The disconnect?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. Tabi wakes up, and suddenly we have Jane over her. We hear a shot, and then she wakes up again. So yeah, this is a nice little jump scare where Jane has basically become the boogeyman, and that's what she is throughout this episode.
And yeah, you deserve that, Tabi.
Right. Yeah. I would say that she deserves the paranoia that follows her for the next couple of scenes.
What did you think was going to happen?
Right. So she takes a shower and gets paranoid that Jane is out there, but
she acts
not.
like she thinks she's being watched.
Right, and she is.
She is.
She gets a summons to a meeting, goes outside, and there's Jane to greet her. She offers her a ride, but Tabi declines for some strange reason. I don't know why.
Yeah, I don't know why she wouldn't want to be with Jane alone in a car.
Right. Jane says, if you need me, I know where to find you.
Super creepy line. Love Jane. I feel like this is such a fun role. Nicole, what's her name? Nicole Bryden Bloom, whose birthday it is today. Happy birthday. She plays this character so beautifully. She's my favorite character in this series, 100%.
So the main guard that eventually ends up to... No, I'm going to skip that for now. Hadley and Presley end up working together. They're working on a computer, and I guess I think it's at this point that she reveals that the password to Sinatra's computer is Dylan's birthday, which is May 16th, which again is not an insignificant detail.
Throwaway lines.
Right, yes. Jeremy is trying to ditch Robinson, but then fills her in on what he's doing, and Robinson says she's in, and Jeremy's like, wait, I didn't ask you to be in, but, she's in, regardless. And by the way, I will again say that I've really grown to love Robinson since she became basically a fugitive. She's no longer a part of the Secret Service agent. She's fun now.
She's a prisoner. She's an escaped prisoner.
Right.
All of our good guys are in really bad positions if we don't do some kind of reset.
Right. Sinatra is given information on the snipers that they will be giving her for protection in the meeting. This guy is played by Herb Claremont.
Herve Claremont.
Okay. 36 credits, including 24 NCIS and Shrinking.
He also is in 9 episodes of Snowfall. He's credited as lead armed guard. He seems to have taken over as Sinatra's security since her security guards keep dying. It's not a great position to be in. I wouldn't want to work security for her. They keep dying.
Right.
Like Samansky.
It's really unfortunate. I mean, he at least lasted the season. Nobody else seems to. The millionaire wants to know
This is Cato.
Why they are even entertaining this. They should just lock it down right now. But Sinatra says why this wouldn't be a good thing. It would result in rolling blackouts, such and such, so on and so forth.
She says lockdown is a last resort. It draws a huge flow of from the power grid, instability. I feel like this also is not a throwaway line. I feel like everything she said in this scene is going to become important next week.
Right. And they should not do this lightly. Jane wants to go, but Tarabi argues against it. And basically saying, she's recognizable, so if you send her out again, it's going to look like you're the leader of the smallest town. I am not sure that that's why Tarabi is making this argument.
Oh, absolutely not, but it is a good argument.
It is a good argument.
And Sinatra agrees with her and tells Jane, you're not going.
And Jane looks upset, and she looks at Tarabi while Tarabi has her back turned, and I'm like, oh, I'm totally going to kill you later. Anyway, Xavier's done with the interview, and Terry and him have a proper reunion.
Oh, that's what my notes say, too.
Oh. Xavier asks what these people are going to do at the bunker, and it's the first time that he's asking this question.
I mean, it's an important question.
Yes.
What are we getting involved in here?
Yes, but Xavier did not ask it when Annie mentioned that the people were going to the bunker.
Well, I don't think Annie knew anything.
I'm sure not, but this is the first time he's raising this concern.
Right. At least, to us. I mean,
right.
He spent weeks with Annie. We didn't see all their conversations.
Fair enough. Terry says, one problem at a time. Basically, he gives him the note saying that the mailman has been, and Xavier's response is, motherfucker. Basically, she says that we have to go and rescue him. He's like, family now, and Xavier says, look, I understand. There's a lot that we need to talk about, but we're not going to do it now, including this baby thing.
Yeah.
That's going to become important eventually. But, the baby is hinted at here, but not discussed.
And, I really feel like he needs to just, say all this stuff a lot sooner than he does, because she's going to start getting the impression that he has a baby.
Right. Oh, yes, exactly. I mean, he brings it up towards the end of the episode.
He just keeps saying, we got a lot of catching up to do. There's things I gotta tell you.
I had a whole ass baby that I've been carting around. But anyway, Dakota tells them to be quick because they're going to leave at such and such time. Xavier says they will be here, and she looks at them very skeptically as they leave. Tarabi goes to Sinatra to restart their working relationship, but she's concerned about Jane.
Oh, this was definitely a fake makeup.
Yes.
I definitely don't think either of them had any intentions on actually repairing their relationship.
She thinks he killed Baines and that she is next. Sinatra says she only kills people if she says to do so.
Well, she says, without, actually saying the words, she admits.
She is totally 100% admitting
She's
there
like,
that she did it.
She goes, you don't have to worry. She doesn't do anything without, me telling her to.
Right.
In other words, I'm not going to kill you.
Right.
And Tarabi's like, do you want me to connect those dots?
Right.
Do you realize what you're saying right now?
And Tarabi's basically like, I don't find that reassuring at all. So if
I don't either.
If you get mad at me, you're going to have me killed?
So now, I mean, and she already knew this,
right?
Tabi knows this. She's not stupid. She knows she's walking in here to confront the person that Jane is working with. So now she's confronted both killers.
Right.
About them wanting to kill her.
Yeah, and it's, well, I think Tabi wasn't on the hit list with Jane until she went in there and was like, I know who you are. I know what you've done.
Right, exactly.
Right.
And now she's doing the same thing to Sinatra.
And again, this looks like a stupid play, but I mean, I guess she wins in the end, so maybe she knows better what she was doing than I thought she did. But anyway.
I don't think she does. I think she's making it up as she goes.
Okay. So she asks about Alex, and Sinatra says to drop it, and she says she's done dropping things for her. And, that should indicate to Tabi that she's still very much on the hit list.
Oh, also a line in this I loved is she's like, at the risk of sounding like a broken record, I'm not a monster.
Right.
This is the third or fourth time she said that. You are a broken record, and if you have to convince yourself that hard that you're not a monster, you're probably a monster.
Yeah. Jane fills in the guards on the outsiders and basically says that there's only a couple people with actual military training. The rest of them are no better than
Link.
NPCs.
She's talking about Link. She specifically says he's the leader. He may have a military background, which...
She actually points to another person and says that they also have military background. She's not just talking about Link.
I could have sworn she was talking about Link.
The big black guy whose name I can't remember all at the top of my head is also someone...
Big Poppy?
Big Poppy, probably. I'm pretty sure that she was also talking about him.
And she said everyone else is just playing dress up.
Right, yes. So, Hadley locates Jeremy.
Oh, and she's tracking Tabi's location, we see in this scene.
Yes, yeah. And she seems very pleased with herself. Hadley locates Jeremy and changes her bracelets to give them access to the underground bunker.
Yes, they found footage of Jeremy being brought into the prison level. So they're going to go there to investigate. She does tech stuff to give their bracelets access so that, no one will know that they're going somewhere they're not supposed to go.
And at this point, it seems like a rescue of them isn't really necessary, given what, Anders and Jeremy and Robinson are up to.
Well, they don't know that.
Of course not.
But also, I don't think they're just trying to rescue them. I think they're trying to get to the bottom of what the heck is going on in this place. What is Sinatra up to? And
I was actually at this point wondering, okay, where are they going with this plot line? Are they going to join Jeremy and co? But, given where they end up, we know where this plot line goes, unfortunately.
Yeah, I don't... I can't wait for next week. I'll just say that.
Everybody's in a bad spot.
Everybody! Everybody. All the people.
Maybe not Xavier, but and his wife.
I don't know, because he's experiencing stuff right along with them.
Right.
Even if he's not there, it's affecting him physically. But no, I said this last week, and I'm going to say it here that, Hadley is definitely a great asset for Presley. She should have befriended her sooner.
Mm-hmm.
As soon as she realized that, hey, there's something going on, she's on board to trying to figure it out.
All right, so Anders tries to find the way to wherever they're going. Jeremy tries to get rid of Robinson, and Robinson tells him that his dad was obsessed with him and constantly talked about him. Jeremy says, well, that's kind of funny because my dad never mentioned you. All right, so I get what he's trying to do here. He's trying to hurt her.
Oh, yeah.
I understand that.
He's digging at her deep, trying to be... Remember, his whole thing is, you're my dad's side piece.
Right.
You're not important. He didn't care about you.
I'm curious as to why Cal would bring up Robinson to...
Well, it wasn't a secret that they were together.
Right.
Everybody knew. Jeremy knew.
Right.
I'm sure he knew.
But, I mean, you're not going to talk to your son, your teenage son, about your side pieces. That's just not something that's going to happen.
Well, that's the thing, is from her perspective, she wasn't a side piece. He's telling her, the second my presidency ends, which was in a couple months, he was going to divorce... whatever her name was. I forget her name. She hasn't been in this season.
No, we haven't seen her at all.
Jessica. He's going to divorce Jessica. And they were going to be together. For real. This is what he's telling her, right?
Sure, but
so
also...
if that was true, it's very possible that the people close to him would know that this is a real relationship.
Yeah, but I still don't see Cal talking to his son about this situation. I don't know. I don't think that he would have done that until... it was actually something that was actually happening.
Right.
But,
I mean, that's the thing is, what were his intentions, we'll never know.
Right.
They literally only met in the bedroom.
Yeah, yeah.
So even though everybody knew, it still wasn't a relationship.
Right. Xavier tells Terry that Presley, working with a limited dating pool, is now dating a white kid. And the white kid is Jeremy Bradford. And she's like, are you fucking serious?
Yeah, I loved her reaction.
And she's like, well, how does Cal feel about that? All right. He hasn't mentioned the fact that Cal is dead.
Well, no, because, there's been a lot going on, and their kids have been first priority.
Fair, but...
And then there's Bean and the baby. There's a lot of kids to cover. There's someone trying to kill people.
They haven't even talked about the baby yet, by the way.
They haven't talked about the baby yet. There's a lot they haven't caught up on.
Right.
So they're just now at, tell me what's going on with our children.
Yeah.
So I buy the fact that he hasn't been like, oh, by the way, the president's dead. It's the main plot line from season 1 for us, but it's not the main plot line for Terry.
Fair enough. She ends up giving her condolences, and Xavier has a very complicated expression on because, for the longest time, Xavier was blaming Cal, unfairly, as we pointed out last season, for his wife's death. And now she's not actually dead, so I'm kind of curious how Xavier's feelings are towards Cal now. Based on what he knows now, that what Cal's actions actually prevented Terry from dying.
Right. So
that's an interesting question. I think is worth exploring at some point. Maybe not this season, but anyway, he talks about James. She ends up talking about Bean and reveals that she knows that he plans to kill Gary. And
she also revealed that she knows Gary killed Enos, so that's not a secret.
Yeah. So we know exactly how that transpired. Her. Bean reported that Gary killed Enos, and then they ran away.
They left and they went to the train.
But Bean is also kind of willing to go with Gary, which is kind of surprising given the fact that he also knows that he killed
Right,
Enos.
But he's also
young.
He's young. He's lived a really terrible life. Remember, Gary's the one who saved him in the first place.
Fair enough.
And Gary told him there's a bomb, which was true.
Mm-hmm.
And that, because when he sees Terry, he's so happy to see her because he thought she died in a bomb. That's what Gary was saying is, I'm taking you away from here because this place is about to blow up.
Okay. So Sinatra prepares to meet with the outsiders. The door opens and she basks in the real sun. And she holds out her hand and lets the sun reflect on her hand. And you see some of the jump cutting stuff that we're going to see as the episode goes along. I'm thinking that this kind of indicates that this has happened multiple times, or that this is happening in different realities as well.
Okay.
And I think that's what the jump cuts kind of seem to indicate, is that this is either a repeat of something that's already happened, or it's happening in multiple different timelines at the same time.
That's pretty deep.
I know, I thought so.
I don't know if this show can pull off what it's doing.
Right.
I'm so scared that they're going to not get the landing.
They're not going to stick the landing?
I mean, I want to have confidence in it, but again, this is just such a different story.
From season 1? Definitely.
From season 1, from This Is Us,
right.
From everything that we know Dan Fogelman's been involved in.
Yeah.
This is big stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And again, the general audience isn't necessarily made of people who follow this kind of story.
All right, so maybe it won't stick the landing for the general populace that don't really follow this type of show, but will it land for us?
I hope so.
Okay.
And I hope we don't spend the next 15 years explaining to people what this show is about that watched it and don't understand. The people who think they were dead the whole time on Lost.
On Lost, yeah. So Link and his top commanders enters, including Geiger.
It's the 5 who were at Graceland. That's who comes with him, his main crew.
Link gets his pie, and I'm actually curious at this point if he thinks maybe it's poison, but I guess it's not. There's no reason to be that subtle about it. If they wanted him dead, they could just shoot him. So
right.
There's no reason to actually poison him. And he's like, oh, well, where's Cal? And, Sinatra says, well, he's dead. And Link says, spoiler alert. Hey, it wouldn't be a spoiler alert if you had watched the first season,
He doesn't
Link.
have cable. He doesn't have Hulu.
Okay, I'm sure he has access to podcasts, right? I guess not. I guess at this point, the Corn Productions Deep Dive TV podcast is probably offline in this new unfortunate world where the world ended.
Yeah, that's a bad timeline.
Yeah, that is a very bad timeline. And then he brings up Baines, the one who got his clock cleaned in the debates, and she's like, he's unavailable.
Yeah, so she admitted that Cal's dead,
yeah.
But she's not going to admit that they're both dead.
Right. He ends up asking about Brad Pitt if he's in the bunker, and that's kind of funny. Why isn't there more celebrities in the bunker? I mean, maybe they're around somewhere.
We don't know. There could be a whole celebrity wing.
Actually, for all we know, Brad Pitt is alive and well out there somewhere. Roaming around, shooting people.
Sure.
Anyway, Link wants to meet in Air Force One, and her main guard is basically like, nah. He's shaking his head behind her, but she does it anyway.
About the pie. He's busy talking about the pie. His guys note right away. They clock fresh apples and a flaky crust, which is not a throwaway line.
Nope, it's not.
It's not admiring food because they haven't had any good food in 3 years. They are very smart and calculated, and they knew what they were looking for in this pie to confirm what they think they know about what's going on in the bunker.
Gotcha. That's pretty smart of them. Anyway, Xavier sets up on the rooftop to sniper Gary with Terry, and at this point, I expect Gary to walk behind them and go, "Hey, what's up, guys?" But that doesn't end up happening. Terry wants to go in. Xavier is hardcore against it. He's arguing against it, saying, this man is dangerous, you can't do that. But she says, look, I'm no fool. Let me go in there. I will get Bean out of there, and then I will walk out of there. And reluctantly, he lets her do it.
Yeah, but he says if Gary even so much as breathes too close to her, he's going to take him out.
And he doesn't fully stick to that, I should point out, because he acts like a crazy person throughout his scene with Terry, and he does not pull that trigger.
Sure, but only because Terry
kind of blocks him
between them. Yeah.
Okay, so Link compares Sinatra to Vader and him to Luke, which is more fitting than we initially think.
Yeah, so here's my question, and we'll talk about it later, but I'm just going to add the question here. Does he know? Or is this just foreshadowing for us?
I don't know.
Because this was it felt like a very intentional line, right?
Yes. I don't know if he knows. I've watched the scene where he reveals his birthday to Sinatra a dozen times, and he does have like this kind of funny look on his face when he says it. I don't know if he knows or not.
Yeah, well, let's talk about that later.
Right,
but it's definitely like, here's what we're doing. It's right here.
Yes. Unfortunately, I already knew about this, so I couldn't pick up on the subtle clues because I already knew, because Hulu screwed up and released the podcast for episode 7.
The official podcast?
Yeah, last night before the episode
came out like 5 hours before the episode dropped.
And I didn't watch it, but people were talking about it on Facebook, and one of the things that they mentioned was the Dylan reveal, unfortunately.
Yeah. What do we think about that?
I think whoever
dropping them, and they didn't pull it down; they left it up, right?
Yes, as far as I could tell. I mean, I kept checking to see if they pulled it down, but yeah, I think whoever was responsible for that should no longer have a job.
Well, okay, here's the deal: we don't have screeners for this show. We don't have screeners for Hulu, but we have screeners from a lot of other networks for a lot of other shows that we cover. We have screeners with at least 3 different networks, right? And media access to even more than that. Part of that is very serious embargo stuff, right? They send us emails every time. There's big warnings on every screener. Constant, like, red highlight, underlined, do not say this, do not say this, do not talk about anything. Obviously, do not release the full context of your podcast before the episode airs. That's like the basic thing, right? Embargoed until air is the bottom line. If we were to release a podcast episode for an episode of television that didn't drop yet, we'd be in some serious hot water. We would lose our privileges, with whichever network it was, if they found out that happened. And
also, we could also face some legal.
Oh yeah, there's like fines, like there's shit that is involved in signing these contracts, digital contracts, to like be part of getting early access, right? Now, it's a little bit different here because it's not anybody getting access. It's literally Hulu producing it and putting it out, the official podcast.
Yeah.
We fortunately have never made that mistake. We've come close a couple times.
We have.
Specifically, I want to say when like a show took a week hiatus and we didn't realize it until like the last minute and our episode's ready to go. And then it's like, oh, wait, it didn't actually air this week. We've got to hold it a week.
Right.
Just because, we weren't on top of the airing schedule because it, there's a little blip. And I know other people have done it. where they drop something early and then take it down right away. Like, specifically, I'm thinking people in the From family. And it causes, like, big drama, right? Even when something's up for 5 minutes. I'm curious, like, what is... I haven't heard anything about this, by the way. I only even know what happened because you told me. I wasn't looking for the podcast.
I didn't know about it either until I saw it on Facebook.
I want to know what... Are they just going to put it under the rug and pretend it never happened?
I mean, I think at that point that's what I would do, but yeah.
It's reminding me of the Walking Dead moment, where the Walking Dead's Facebook, I think it was Facebook, whatever, social media, put up an R.I.P. Beth hours before the episode aired that she died in.
Wow, okay.
That's like a famous moment, within the Walking Dead history, is where they accidentally spoiled her death. This reminds me of that.
Wow.
But I feel like nobody's talking about it. I mean, maybe not, because, honestly, I haven't really paid much attention because I didn't want to get spoiled on the episode.
Yeah.
So I haven't really been deep into discussions today about it yet.
There was some conversation about it on Facebook yesterday, but other than that, I haven't seen any conversation since. But, yeah. So,
anyways, that was a big faux pas.
Yeah.
Don't do that.
Yeah.
Do it.
So they engage in some more small talk. That's Link and Sinatra. Link claims to want a nuclear reactor, and I know right away...
Oh, and he told us he's 26, by the way.
Yes.
That came up.
And, yeah, I know right away that he's full of shit. I would know right away that he was full of shit regardless of whether I knew that he was actually looking for Alex or not. Because it was mentioned that they went around the country turning off power plants.
Right.
Specifically. So this is BS. Sinatra says she can't spare one. Link ends up listing off all the things that went into making that apple pie because he's no fool.
Yeah, fresh apples means they're growing food. Flaky crust means they have refrigeration.
Yeah.
They're living large, basically. They're not living in some post-apocalyptic environment.
Right.
Also, during this, he told us he has 10,000 people.
Yes.
In his, not just in the caravan, but in the whole network between the train and that and whoever else is out there. It's a network of 10,000 survivors that he is the leader of. Isn't that crazy?
That's pretty crazy.
Plus, we know there's 25,000 people in the bunker, so that's 35,000 people still alive, at least.
Wow.
In, North America.
Gotcha. All right, and basically Sinatra asks what he really wants because he doesn't want what he's asking for because he knows that she wouldn't give it. And then he reveals that he's after Alex. And then we cut to Terry and Xavier. She goes in. She sees Bean first. Bean ends up giving Terry a hug. That this verifies officially that he is alive. Gary says that she's home. Like, hey, you came home. They end up sending Bean outside. Meanwhile, Xavier watches with his finger on the trigger. And he will do this for the rest of this scene. She ends up bringing up Enos, what happened to Enos. Gary starts to panic. She begs him to stay calm. Terry says he needs to stay calm down because her husband is out there. And he will take him out if he doesn't calm the heck down. Sinatra tells Link that she doesn't know what he's talking about. He doesn't buy it. And they reach an impasse, and he ends up stealing a pen for some reason.
He takes a pen. I feel like that's going to become significant in episode 8. It has to be.
Yeah.
Because they made a point of them showing us that he took one of the Air Force One pens. I think it's either going to, he's going to use it to, stab someone in the neck or save someone's life, the whole, neck hole thing with a pen.
Yeah.
Speaking of Lost, that happened in the Lost pilot. Or, I don't know, some timey-wimey timeline change. Maybe the color of the pen's going to change. It's blue right now with white writing, by the way. Something about this pen's going to be significant in episode 8.
Okay, so Tabi looks for Alex in her computer, and she doesn't go far enough. She doesn't look at cues. But
I don't think she's going to find the name in the registry of
in
residents. No.
And she has a note in her notebook that says, Jane involved, with a question mark. She looks outside, again looking for Jane, doesn't see her, but Jane is watching from the house across the street.
Ooh, the lady in the house across the street in the window?
Yes, lady in the window. Jeremy Anderson Robinson reached the main control room. Jeremy apologizes and says that he must be too much like his father, big feelings and all. And Robinson doesn't accept his apology and says he is nothing like his dad. Wow. Okay. Robinson is a grown-ass woman.
Well, he's acting like a grown-up. He can hold his own.
He's still a teenager. Why would you say this to him?
She is... Okay, so the whole conversation was, he keeps throwing her down, saying, basically, hey, my dad didn't care about you. That's the context.
Right.
He is apologizing, sure, but it's after how many times has he made a dig at her, right?
Right.
And she goes, your dad hurt me 100 times, but never on purpose. In other words, you're hurting me on purpose, and I'm not going to stand for it. She is holding her own, saying, you're not like him because he wouldn't hurt me the way you're trying to hurt me.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's a very, very low blow to say that to the son of the person who passed away. I don't know. That's just me. But yeah.
I think it's good for him to be told, called out on what he's doing.
Mm-hmm. Fair enough.
I get what you're doing. You're trying to hurt me.
Right.
And it's not going to work.
Right. Okay. So Anderson says that they'll have to open the doors the old-fashioned way, which is by breaking shit.
They're going to break the oxygen tanks because once the thing says there's no oxygen, the doors are going to open. I have a question, by the way. I'm going to stick this right here. When did they come down the tunnels? It was at night, the night before.
Something like that.
Have they been in these tunnels for 24 hours? What is the timeline here?
I don't know.
That through all the events of this whole day, they're just in the tunnels?
Mm-hmm.
When we saw them go down there at night.
And, yeah. I'm not sure, but yeah, I guess the time frame here is a little wonky. But
how many miles did they have to walk in these tunnels that it took them an entire day to get to this room?
And Robinson is all for this. She's all for taking axes to oxygen tanks, and she's all excited. I do really love Robinson and her reactions to things like, yeah, let's fuck shit up. But anyway, Gary, meanwhile, is relating a story about being a lifeguard, and he's saying, never let a drowning man get his hands on you. That's what they say to him repeatedly during lifeguard training. And Gary is very much that drowning man.
Right, because if they put their hands on you, you're both going down.
Right. He starts to get really emotional. He didn't mean to kill Enos. He didn't mean to hurt or scare anyone. He says that these were the worst years in history, but the best in his life. And Terry says, yes, these were some great, terrible years, but they are over. Gary goes to the window and says, if that's true, then just let your husband kill me. Terry grabs him, and Xavier, meanwhile, is showing some pretty remarkable restraint here. He could easily take this man out, who he sees through the window looking like a crazy person.
Yeah, but she knows that, too. She knows he will do it, so
right.
That's why she stepped between him and the window.
Right. And she, in their hug, she calms him down and says, he has a chance to start over. He will swim again. She knows it. And then he asks to make sure that Bean remembers the best of him. And she assures him that he will. And Xavier watches as she leaves the building. And he still has a gun pointed at Gary. Until Gary very sadly goes inside. And then they end up leaving.
Xavier lets Gary live. Gary lets them walk away. Terry has successfully diffused the situation. At least for now. I feel like it could be a bad thing that we're just leaving this man alive and alone.
Fair enough.
He could turn into a supervillain. I don't know.
Fair enough, but this actually feels very much like a This Is Us type resolution. This is the optimistic view that Dan Fogelman typically has.
And I hope that, Gary becomes a better person. But I'm a little scared for what he could become after losing Terry and Bean.
I mean, if he is a better person, we're never going to see him again. If he turns into a supervillain, maybe we'll come across him again.
Or, we might be resetting the whole universe and none of this matters.
Right, that's fair, which would be really, really kind of annoying, so I hope they don't do that necessarily, but...
Also, I want to point out, this is a good place to do this, we were questioning what happened to the other 3 people from the bunker. There were 3 people unaccounted for. We don't know. Did they leave the way the other 2 did? Did they go on the train? We don't get a clear answer in this episode, but they're not with Gary, and according to the credits for this episode, Ruth the gardener was in this episode. I didn't see her.
No, I also did not see her.
But because she was credited, either she was in that train mess and she's one of the people that spoke in the background and we just didn't pick her out, or there was a deleted scene that she was in. But it leads me to think that maybe those 3 are on the train and are going to Colorado as well.
Probably. Sinatra tells Link to not try to get in, and Link says they are coming. That's not what she doesn't understand, that they are coming regardless. Sinatra says that she will protect what she's built. You know, it's very interesting because Sinatra could just easily kill all these people right now. She could have them all taken out.
I mean, there's 10,000 people, though.
I mean, fair enough. But
That's a lot of people.
The leaders are all standing here.
The leaders are here. She could have taken out the leaders. But,
right.
But, you know, you cut off the head, what's going to grow in its place?
I guess. But
and by the way, you skipped one quick little scene. I just want to mention that we had the moment where Xavier brings up the baby.
Right.
He's like, we got one more stop we got to make before we get to the train. You still like babies, right?
Right. And that's literally my entire note for that scene. So, I skipped over that. But yeah, that was my note. It was basically like, we have one more stop before we're heading to the train, and you still like babies, right? It was literally my entire note for that scene.
I feel like he needed to explain that statement better because...
Right.
Yeah.
Maybe she should start
Until she sees that white baby, she's probably a little concerned.
Yeah, I mean, even if she sees the white baby, she might still be a little concerned.
No, it's a very white baby.
Okay, fair enough. But anyway, so... Sinatra says she will protect what she built. Link angrily tells her that she didn't build anything. She bribed, she murdered, and her friends are the ones that destroyed the universe or the planet in the first place.
Yeah.
Geiger calls and calls back to him and says, "Dylan, I'm a little uncomfortable here. We should go." And Sinatra recognizes the name Dylan. Of course she does. She ends up grabbing his wrist, and she asks, "What's your birthday?" Things get a little tense here. Guns are pointed from both sides, and he ends up giving her the birthday of May 16th. And again, I don't know if he knows that Sinatra is her mother, or his mother rather, but if he doesn't, how doesn't he know?
And that's a whole question of what is this?
Right.
How?
Right.
And we'll talk about that, but I don't have any answers.
If he were born from Sinatra, which is the only way that this is, that they're, mother and
let's
son.
talk about it later.
All right.
Because it's a whole conversation we need to have about that. But this is the moment where she realizes.
Yes.
Which my question was, how did she not recognize him? I feel like a mother would have. I feel like she would have. But anyways.
I don't know. It's been like 20-something years. So.
It's been 116 years.
Right.
They both get nosebleeds.
Yep. As they...
And the whole zhuzh thing.
Right. Yep. As they are leaving, he gets a nosebleed, she gets a nosebleed. I guess at this point, this is a turning point in time. This is a point where something's going to get reset. Something is happening here. It's similar to what happened to Xavier, similar to what happened to Dylan, Link in the first place, and so on and so forth. And Billy, of course.
Yes.
She goes to her, and he makes more threats. She does not give a lick about it. He's like, "Oh, I'm going to destroy everything you built." But she is not hearing that. She's just like, "Whoa, this is my son."
Right.
So she doesn't care about his threats. She goes to her husband. She's getting really frisky.
She says it worked.
Right, yes.
And he's like, what worked? Does he know about Alex? I don't think he knows anything.
No. She says that she's okay. And that she thinks Dylan is too. And he gives her a look like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Here's the look. Because even earlier this day, they had this conversation where she admitted, she can't even say his name. Right. She never says his name. She's like, how do you even say his name? Mm-hmm. So this is probably the first time she has spoken the name Dylan to her husband in years.
Yeah. And this all leads to some lovemaking.
They reconciled their marriage.
Yay. Cal Anders in the past with Sinatra is showed the control center. Cal runs through various scenarios. What happens if you run out of oxygen? What happens if there's a siege? What happens if...
fire.
A fire.
We get sprinklers for the fire. The doors open if we run out of oxygen. And the siege, which Sinatra picks up what he's talking about. She brings up the Battle of Helm's Deep.
Yes.
Do you want to tell us what that's about?
It's a Lord of the Rings reference. And I believe the Battle of the Helm's Deep was the second movie.
Okay. See, that's something I would
not
know.
Yes.
But I knew you would.
Yes.
And he says in that case, that's when full lockdown protocol would be initiated.
Right.
And then Cal asks super important question, which totally glossed over this the first time watching.
Yeah.
What happens if they all happen at the same time?
And Anders thinks this is a highly unlikely event.
Yeah, he says the odds of that happening are infinitesimal, which I had to look up that word.
Yes.
It means as close to zero as you can get without being zero.
Right. It's
a almost zero number. It's there should be zero. It's almost zero chance of that happening.
And I'm going to point out the fact that Cal, despite acting dumb earlier in this episode when we started, he's asking all the right questions.
Anders finishes, that's not an issue, but we're prepared for any reasonable scenario. He's basically dismissing him, saying that they can't all happen at the same time.
Yeah.
But we're prepared for any one thing to go wrong.
Right.
And this is when he apologizes to Sinatra for calling it impossible and says the bunker will outlast them all. Yeah. Now, Cal had a look on his face, which you questioned.
I did.
When we were watching the episode together for the first time.
Yes.
I feel like him asking that question was almost too perfect. I feel like he might know something.
You think he knows the events that are going to happen?
I feel like he might be in on something that we don't know he's in on.
Gotcha.
That he asked that specific question and then had that look on his face that you were questioning.
Yes. I what I specifically said is Cal does not look happy.
I feel like, I mean, and this is just pure speculation, but what if he knows about Alex? Maybe he's been getting messages.
He, in every scene that we've seen him this season, he barely seems interested in the intricacies of anything that's going on with the bunker.
Right.
I don't even think he literally cuts Sinatra off when she says it's more than just the bunker. He doesn't actually listen to what Sinatra has to say after that.
Yeah.
I don't think he knows about Alex. I don't think he actually cared that much. But then again, we've seen him play the fool when we know he's not the fool.
Right.
Plenty of times,
what if he's getting messages the way Circuit City Dude was getting messages?
Right.
What if he knows how this ends?
Right. And I actually...
And what if that also plays into his last day? He knew he was about to die.
Right.
Maybe that's why he knew. Because he's been told everything.
Yeah, that makes sense. And also, I think... I think that's how Alex is doing it. Communicating via the way he was communicating with the Circuit City guy through instant messaging and stuff like that. I think he also communicated with Henry Miller, which is why Henry Miller knew all the things that he knew, because he had been told by Alex everything that he needed to know, which seems to indicate that it was already working.
Right.
And if Alex is
100%. The story we're watching is it's already happened.
Yes.
Whatever Alex is doing, Alex has done already.
Which would seem to indicate that Link is destined to fail in killing Alex, because Alex is already doing Alex things.
Well, let's keep going.
Yeah.
This is, again, so hard to talk about this.
Right. Cal looks for wood to knock on. He finds a clipboard that's wood, and Sinatra is annoyed with his superstitiousness. And Cal says he's becoming a history student all of a sudden. And I don't believe that for a second. I think he knew all this beforehand. But he says that societies don't fail due to lack of preparation and redundancies. They fail while sitting on the high horse with all the redundancies you could possibly think of. Cal talks about the fall of the Roman Empire, and as we see, Sinatra...
And he's going to keep talking through the next 6 scenes.
Yes. We see Sinatra. She gets out of bed, and complete with jump cuts. There's more jump cuts in this scene.
Crazy jump cuts in this scene.
Which seems to indicate that this has happened multiple times, and that those jump cuts are indicating that we're watching that happen, that this scene has transpired before.
And also, it's an important moment, right?
Mm-hmm. The billionaires can't reach Sinatra, as Link and crew plan their invasion. Cal talks about sports teams, the Bulls, etc., etc., who all thought that they could do no wrong, but they all eventually failed. And, in fact, the Bulls have not been back to the championship since 1998. That's due to poor ownership, but that's besides the point.
We don't need to have sports
we don't need to have that conversation.
Sorry, I'm not the co-host for that conversation.
Sinatra takes a ride deeper into the bunker.
She goes somewhere else underground.
Right.
We don't know where she's going.
The billionaires decide for a full lockdown. Tabi closes her blinds, and Jane looks pleased. Presley and Hadley go down the elevator. Anders and Jeremy and Robinson, they use their axes to start the gas.
They break the oxygen tanks.
Yep. Jane goes to kill Tabi in her house.
She goes into her bathroom while the shower's running. Tabi loves her showers.
Right. I think she set this up on purpose.
Absolutely.
When she was taking the shower before, that's when the idea occurred to her, because she knew she was going to have to do this. I guess Tabi is way smarter than I gave her credit for. But Yeah, Tabi ends up stabbing her from behind. I'm like, oh my god, are they literally killing Jane here?
I knew halfway through this episode, I said, someone's going to die at the end of this episode. I didn't know who. Jane was the last person I suspected.
I did not in a million years think that Jane was going to be the one to die here. I really did not. And I think that this is going to end up getting reversed. I think that Jane will be alive by the beginning of season 3 or even the end of this episode. Or not the end of this episode. The end of next episode. I think.
Well, right now, Jane's bloody in a crumpled pile in Tarabi's shower.
And it very much looks like she dies.
She looks very dead. Or at least very, very critical and about to die.
Right.
At the very least. This shower's seen a lot of action.
Yeah. Anders looks at the control panel. The billionaires initiate shutdown. Presley and Hadley end up stuck in the elevator. Anders notes with alarm that they're getting conflicting commands with both the lockdown and the oxygen thing happening.
Oh, and this is where we're hearing the alternate rendition of Final Countdown. I love what this show does.
Yep.
Is when we get to these end scenes, we hear like the song of the week with a whole different rendition. It's the beautiful rendition of this song being played through this.
So while they're supposed to be going into lockdown, the doors are also supposed to be opening.
Right. So the doors are supposed to be opening because that's the protocol for the oxygen turning off. But simultaneously in the tower, Morton turned on lockdown procedure, which is going to keep the doors from opening. So we're in a very dangerous situation. Before we talk about nuclear shit, we already have oxygen's off and doors are locked at the same time. But then we have all of these screens. System failure, command conflict, atmospheric stabilization failure, critical radiation danger, and finally, meltdown imminent.
And Anders starts freaking, and I'm like, oh my god, are they all going to blow up? Are they all going to die? And then Cal says that everything that achieves greatness has one thing in common. They end. And Sinatra says, not on her watch. And then we see the train, apparently.
Well, first we see her on something train-like.
Right.
She's taking a train ride pretty far from wherever she entered underground. Right. And then we see the train.
Right. Xavier, his wife, the baby, and Bean are all there. Things get really blurry all of a sudden.
Full zhuzh is happening.
We see a flash of a tunnel. We don't see anybody walking it, but I think maybe he's picturing Sinatra at this point.
He's having tunnel vision.
Right.
That's funny.
Ah, yes, very good.
Similar to the things he was seeing with him and Link in the hallway, but they're not there this time. But yes, we're also seeing at the same time Sinatra literally walking down a hallway.
Right. And
it's beautiful cinematography, whatever it is. I'm just not sure exactly what it is.
And we see Xavier having a nosebleed, and he seems a little bit concerned.
And his hand's doing the whole, I'm seeing blurry zhuzh.
Sinatra goes down the hallway. She goes down an elevator shaft. She puts on some kind of coat.
And she's not affected by the lockdown. The doors are opening for her.
Right. I don't think this is the same location. I think this is some off-site location. It's something that's
outside of lockdown procedure.
This
is potentially the way out for all of them.
Right.
But she doesn't even know about lockdown or the oxygen or any of that because she wasn't there for it.
And then she sees a glowing light and she says, "Hello, Alex."
She says, "Hi, Alex."
Okay, fine. It's the same thing.
It is the same thing, but she said, "Hi, Alex." In my notes, I wrote, "Hello, Alex," and then it happened, and I was like, "Oh, no, it's hi."
And that is where the episode frustratingly ends. Yes.
We don't get to see Alex.
Yeah, wow, crazy stuff. I watched that final sequence about 1,000 times already. And yeah, just wow. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff happening.
There's so much!
Yeah. I literally expected Xavier on the train to see, a big explosion.
Well, I don't think he's quite there yet.
Probably not.
He's got to get all the way across the country.
Right.
I think he'll be there next week, but...
I think the next episode might start with the bunker literally exploding, and then we have our credits. Or that it happens at the end of the episode, and that's how our season ends.
Well, there wasn't a timer with the meltdown imminent message.
I mean, that's usually meaning it's going to happen soon.
It's going to happen soon, but we don't know how soon.
Right.
And we don't know if there's anything they can do to stop it. It doesn't seem like it right now, but...
Right.
Okay, so let's talk about the situation in the bunker.
Yes.
We have no oxygen.
Right.
You know, what's in the air is it, and it's a big place, so that's, enough for a little while, but there's no new oxygen being pumped in.
Right.
That's bad.
Yes.
The doors are locked.
Yes. That's also bad.
And they can't manually override them.
Right.
There's 4 nuclear reactors that are about to blow.
Yes, that is also...
4 of them!
That is also very bad.
The girls are trapped in an elevator. Nobody knows they're there.
Right.
So that's pretty bad for them.
Yes. Jane is dead.
Jane's dead. Sinatra is away.
Doing whatever
somewhere.
the hell she's doing.
She's with Alex.
Yes.
Somewhere else. Somewhere far away.
My theory was that she was going to Alex at that point to do another reset.
She's doing something.
Right.
Or to go talk to Alex about Link. But
right.
Again, we don't know how Alex works and what we don't know what she's doing, but she's doing something.
I mean, in this situation, Dylan might be alive now, but he's not going to be for very long.
She's about to do Not on My Watch.
Right.
She's going to keep it from ending. Like she's the one who's going to save us right now, I think.
Gotcha.
In some way, shape, or form. I don't know.
So this is the equivalent of rage quitting and just like hitting the reset button and then restarting, basically?
Maybe. I mean, we have a lot of video game references.
Right, yeah.
Okay, so Link's Sinatra's son. That's the big reveal.
Yes.
Link is... What's his name?
Dylan.
Dylan. Link is Dylan. Does he know? She knows now. She didn't know. She didn't recognize him. I have a problem with that. But let's talk about him not seeming to know. Or does he know? Let's talk about that.
Yeah. There is no way that if he was born to Sinatra that he would not know that this is his mother. Unless he was taken away in this new timeline
At
from
a
her.
very little young age.
But that must mean that that happened in a different timeline than the one Sinatra is from.
Right. So this indicates they are from different timelines or different dimensions or whatever. Again, that's the same thing.
Right.
If you look at a dimension as just a dimension as a branch off of the multiverse, right?
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So a timeline dimension, same conversation for the what we're talking about here, where something is different.
Right.
Obviously, he's not her son. Unless we're saying he didn't literally die and the doctors kidnapped him. And, this reminds me of a crazy This Is Us theory. Do you remember the theory circulating that Kyle never died and, Dr. K just kidnapped him?
Uh-huh.
So unless that's what they decided to do and he never did die and wasn't really sick and they saved him, that's the only way this is literally her son, right?
Unless, I don't know. At this point, maybe it's, I don't think it's literally her son.
It has to be her son from a different timeline, different dimension.
Yes.
And the only way he wouldn't know that Sinatra's his mother is if he didn't have the same childhood that her Dylan did, which would mean he was taken from her, at birth.
Yeah.
He has the same name, he has the same birthday, but in this scenario, he doesn't know who his family is.
Maybe that's what the whole bloody nose thing is alternate realities kind of converging in on each other. I don't know.
But then the question, of course, is how did he get from said reality to this reality?
Right.
What is his backstory? And I hope that they explain this. If this is a different version of him that wasn't raised by her, didn't get sick. By the way, how did he get sick? What did he die from?
I don't think they even mentioned what he died from, but yeah.
That didn't happen in whatever timeline he's from.
Yeah.
He grew up, somehow ended up back in this timeline, ended up being a super genius and attending grad school at age 15 and working with Henry, working on Alex.
Well, yeah, wow. Because, I mean, it seems like the only way that he even existed at this point is because of Alex.
Because of Alex.
But he worked on Alex?
Well, that's the thing, because Alex is sending messages through time. As soon as it worked... I mean, it's think of strict time travel. And I'm not comparing it to this, but think of strict time travel. As soon as time travel works, time travel's always existed.
Right.
Right? Which is why we think probably there isn't ever going to be time travel, because we know about it by now, because someone from 200 years in the future would be here.
I mean, there's people who claim to be from the future.
But that's the thing. Once it ever exists, it will always exist.
Right.
In the past. So this is the same thing, right? Even if it's not strict time travel, Alex is communicating with people in the past, causing changes in the past.
Yes.
So Alex presumably did something in some version of events in whatever timeline Link is from that caused him to become Link and not die as a kid.
So Alex has not only access to the current timeline and
all of them.
They, whatever.
She. They call she.
Right. Basically has access to the multiverse as well.
Alex is causing the multiverse.
Right. Okay. That seems like a very huge story to.
It is.
To tell in a, I mean, they can't tell it in a single episode. That's not possible.
But that's what we're doing, right? Like, there's no other version of this story not involving multiple dimensions or timelines.
Right. I mean, unless they make the finale 2 hours long. I mean, I'm right there with you. A little bit concerned about whether they're going to be able to make this a satisfying finale or not.
I feel like we need to know so much about Link. And his story, and how it differed from Dylan's story. Did he have military background? Like, that line was thrown in there.
Right. Yes.
How did we get from a child dying to this, leader of men at 26, named after a video game?
Right.
What does the baby have to do with anything?
Annie?
How does the baby come into this?
Link's.
The baby was obviously really important because the reason we're thinking Xavier crashed was to save the baby.
Right. So Dylan's son, Sinatra's grandchild.
Yes. Annie's baby is Sinatra's grandchild. I said last week I didn't want Jane raising that baby. I think it should have been Sinatra I was worried about raising that baby.
I don't want either one of them raising that baby.
No.
Well,
Jane doesn't seem to be a problem in the current timeline.
Right. No.
But Sinatra's going to find out that's her grandchild.
Right. Wow.
And if something happens to Link and not Sinatra, she's raising that baby.
Oh, shit. Definitely don't want that.
I need more about Link, about Henry, obviously about Alex.
Right.
I need this to make sense. I can put all this, I can make all these stories in my head, but none of it is canon.
Also, some of it is a much bigger story than we have time to tell. That's for sure. Yeah.
And then, okay.
I mean, there is next season.
But
we have to make this
season make sense.
Yes, we have to have a satisfying conclusion to this season.
You got to give viewers a reason to stick with this story.
Right.
Because not everybody's crazy like us and is going to,
stick around for, insanity?
Yes.
Yeah.
And, we were spot on about them hiding Link's real name for a reason.
Yes.
It just never crossed my mind that Dylan came into play here.
I'm sure someone somewhere had that theory.
I'm sure somebody did, but we didn't.
Yeah, right.
We had a million crazy theories of people time traveling and babies being other people and all this stuff, and some of that could still be true. Yeah. We don't know that we don't also have explicit time travel.
Maybe Annie's baby is also Dylan.
Well, Annie's baby's a girl.
So
probably not Dylan.
A female Dylan.
It could be.
Maybe they're like...
That baby still could be Jane.
It could
Well,
still
no, we saw Jane's birth.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so baby's not Jane. That one's been taken care of. I like the theory somebody had that Bean could be Billy. I still like that theory.
Okay.
And, when I was going through season 1 photos today, I saw the photos of young Billy, from his episode when he killed his uncle or whoever it was.
Right.
That actor kind of resembles Bean a little bit.
I mean, that's because Dan Fogelman has a type. He has this very specific kid type picture in his mind, and that's who he ends up casting. But, I mean, it could very well
Bean's become an important part of this story.
Right.
And one thing we've learned is nothing in this universe is a coincidence.
Right. They're
all interconnected in some meant-to-be way. Like, the verbiage of the way it's supposed to be is about Alex, right? That's how Henry described it, is this is what was supposed to happen. Meaning every single detail is somehow concocted and constructed by Alex.
Mm-hmm.
Everything that we're watching is what Alex made happen.
Wow.
Including, and here's where I think we are, I think Alex is making the meltdown happen. I think that's the goal in this timeline, is to make Meltdown.
Gotcha.
I think that's Alex's goal, and everything that's been happening with all of these characters gets us to this moment.
To what end?
I don't know. It's going to reset everything. Like, literally, the meltdown is going to be the catalyst for allowing Alex to reset the whole world.
Okay.
In, like, some grand catalytic way.
How much of this does Sinatra know?
I don't think she knows details. She knows that she wanted to get her son back. She said it worked. We know she wants to save the world. Like, she does have bigger goals than just getting her son back. I believe that. You know, that this isn't just her being selfish, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Think about the show Dark. Okay? Dark is about time travel and timelines and all of this. Different dimensions. It all started with a nuclear meltdown.
Right.
There is precedent of fiction where nuclear meltdowns involve splitting timelines and all of that.
Okay.
Okay, that's established lore.
Yes.
So I feel like, and I don't know how or what or why, but the meltdown had to happen in order for Alex to do what Alex is going to do next.
Okay.
And think about it.
So everybody's going to die.
Henry said Link had to be alive, that the world depended on it. Fate of the world.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why Billy let him live. Link coming here and saying, I'm going to come in and I'm going to destroy Alex, is what led Sinatra to do whatever she's about to do.
Right.
It's what made the billionaires turn on lockdown. Right? Which is what made the doors not open when they blew up the when they axed up the oxygen tanks.
Right.
All of this is happening at the same time, but any one little change in any of these characters' actions, and this wouldn't have all lined up this way. Like Anders said, this shouldn't be possible.
Right.
All of the things happening at once is statistically not possible. It shouldn't happen. And the only way that's going to happen is intervention.
Gotcha.
Alex causing all of these things to line up.
Wow.
Causing people to be in the right places and do the things. You know what? I think maybe even Link isn't literally trying to destroy Alex.
Well, that's the thing, is I think maybe Link destroying Alex would invalidate his own existence.
Right. I think maybe he was told that's what he has to do.
Mm-hmm. But
just to get him here to be the threat that he is.
Okay. So that's his part in things.
I mean, I don't know. I'm confused why he thinks he needs to kill Alex.
I mean, maybe it's because it causes the meltdown that's about to happen.
Sure. But he doesn't realize that that's also a good thing?
Right.
Because it's going to reset the world? There's going to be a reset in some way, shape, or form. There has to be.
Right.
Otherwise, like, where's this going?
Right. I mean, like, yeah, I think Jane is going to be back alive. We might even have Cal back alive next season.
Wouldn't that be cool if next season is like, here's all the characters who have died, and we're doing something new with them?
Right.
I mean, it could be frustrating to undo things we've already done, but I feel like this opened up so many possibilities of what they could do next.
Right. Wow. I don't even think I can wrap my mind around what they could possibly do completely.
Yeah.
It's...
And I mean, obviously, we're going to have a lot of time to think about that. Let's see how episode 8 plays out before we get too deep into thinking about next season.
Right.
But next week, and we usually don't talk about the next episode, but I'm going to talk about it a little bit because, like, look where we're at. This is our last chance for season 2 theories, okay?
Mm-hmm.
The next episode is called Exodus.
Yes.
Here's the description. So vague. Worlds collide. Time is of the essence for Xavier. Link and his team spring into action. Sinatra puts it all on the line.
Wow.
So, worlds collide.
That definitely seems to indicate
on the
multiple...
surface, that's, the outsiders in the bunker, right?
Right.
But definitely think this is more about multiple dimensions, multiple timelines, whatever. Absolutely has to be.
Mm-hmm.
Time is of the essence.
Well, of course.
Time is playing a factor.
Yep.
Link and his team spring into action.
It's because his birthday was in May.
I don't know what that's about, but they're doing something, obviously. Mm-hmm. Sinatra puts it all on the line. What's she putting on the line? What is she doing?
Right.
All we know is she's talking to Alex.
So this place is on lockdown in a nuclear meltdown situation. Link is still going to try to go in there? Does he not?
I don't think any of the sides know what the other sides are doing.
Right.
And Sinatra doesn't know anything that's going on because she left.
Yeah,
as soon as she slept with her husband, she was out the door.
Right. I'm actually kind of wondering if she knew everything as it was about to go down.
Maybe.
Which is why she left. But she left basically everybody to die, I think. So, because she knew she was going to do this reset thing.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know. Exodus. Exodus means grand exiting. A lot of people leaving.
Which could indicate leaving the bunker.
Leaving the bunker? Leaving the
reality.
timeline?
Yeah, leaving
the world. As long as we don't slide into a world full of dinosaurs.
No Cro-Mags, please. I have no interest in Cro-Mags.
If you know what I'm talking about, that means you're a fan of Sliders.
Yes.
Which has an episode titled Exodus. Go check out our friends at Fandom Entanglement Podcast. They're currently doing a watch through of Sliders. They're going to be on the Exodus episode within the next couple months. And we're guest starring on their next episode that's going to drop soon.
Yep. Murder Most Foul.
So check them out. Fandom Entanglement. And yes, that was about an entire world of people going to a new dimension. Okay. And starting civilization over in a world that wasn't broken yet.
Gotcha. Oh, interesting.
So,
okay. So we're taking our inspiration from probably one of the worst things to ever happen to Sliders?
Well, I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if somebody on this writing team is a fan of Sliders.
Yeah, okay.
It is pulling inspiration from that. Or it's just coincidental, but...
When we began season 2, I really did not expect...
to be comparing it to Sliders?
Having this conversation at all is insanity to me. But I'm digging it. I really enjoyed this episode.
You know what we've said, obviously, many times. I don't know how much we've actually talked about it on air, but season 2 is a very different show than season 1.
It absolutely
Entirely different series.
To the point where, like, people keep telling me to go look at season 1 for clues, and I'm like, I don't know how helpful that would actually be.
Well, here's the thing. I'm thinking of another show, which has a little bit of a similar setting, and that is Wayward Pines.
Okay.
Remember Wayward Pines? Well, you didn't watch it, did you?
I didn't,
okay.
But I've heard about it plenty.
Okay, so I'm going to tell you. Season 1 of Wayward Pines and Season 2 of Wayward Pines, literally different shows. Same setting, a couple of the same characters, but they completely changed it where you could watch either one and never seen the other one and have no idea about what happened in the other one because it feels 100% like a different series, okay? And season 2 is terrible. Don't just watch it like it's a one-season show and call it a day. I don't feel like this is like that. On the surface, totally different show. Season 1's a murder mystery,
crime thriller, political thriller.
Political drama, right? Season 2 is some sci-fi mystery. But here's the thing. Today, we went and revisited a few scenes from season 1 because we were trying to look at, like, Sinatra's son in the flashbacks and stuff, right? Just revisiting some of those scenes, we're just seeing some of the characters interacting in season 1. I was like, wow, I feel like season 1's a different show now than it was when we watched it. Just knowing the scope of season 2 and where this story could be going.
Interesting.
I feel like rewatching it again now, and it would look totally different to us, knowing that it's this bigger story.
Did you already discuss your Cal thoughts? Because you said that some of these scenes made you think about Cal.
Yes, that was my thought, that perhaps Cal knows things.
So you did already discuss that.
Perhaps Cal was given messages, knows how the bunker's going to end, knows how his life's going to end. And maybe he's being fed things to act certain ways to make them happen.
I mean, that speech was, like, on the money. So, right. I mean, like, either he's really, really smart, way smarter than we've ever given him credit for, or he actually has been fed stuff and knows exactly how things are going to play out.
Right.
Interesting.
Right.
All right. Do we have anything else to say before concluding?
I mean, I think we covered everything in my notes. I can't wait. And this, like I said, this is last chance. So I want to hear all of the theories. Where do you think we might be on the money? What are you thinking different? This is the last chance for season 2 theories. How do we think this season's going to end?
Right. And, bring them up. We'll shout them out. Half of them will be wrong. Actually, probably more than that.
90% of them will be wrong.
but
throw something at the wall. Something will stick.
Yeah.
I want somebody in our community to figure it out.
Right.
So give us all of your theories, as crazy as they may be. Who do you think the baby is somebody we know? Do we think Bean is Billy? Do we think Jane's going to come back from the dead? Do we think that, what about the girls locked in the elevator? Are they just going to die because nobody knows they're there?
I don't think they're going to go that dark, but my money was on Hadley being dead by the end of the season, but I thought Jane was going to kill her.
How's the baby come into play? We got these parents coming back with these 2 little white kids. Why? This has to have some significance to the story.
Yeah, that's interesting. All right, I think this is a good place to stop it for now. If we have further thoughts, we could always, jump on and just share whatever thought that we have that we want to discuss. But we'd like to hear from you. What'd you think of this episode? What'd you think of this podcast? And just name out your crazy theories. Stacie, we reached out.
I can be reached on Twitter, X, Instagram, Threads, and Blue Sky at TV and Coupon Talk.
If you like this video and want to support the channel, there are a number of ways to do so. You can follow me on Twitter at Core Productions. You can join the Core Productions Facebook page. You can buy something from the Core Productions store on Zazzle. You can buy me a coffee. You can join the Core Productions membership starting at 99 cents a month. And, of course, you can like, share, and comment on this video, as well as subscribe to the channel. This is Dave and Stacie from Core Productions, signing off.